This morning, decorated combat veteran Lieutenant Colonel Alexander S. Vidman is testifying that he raised concerns several times, including after he listened in on the call, where you-know-who allegedly withheld aid until the Ukrainian president agreed to investigate the Bidens. And Vidman says he's a patriot who's doing this out of a sense of duty. But his loyalty was called into question on the Laura Ingraham show last night. Let's take a look.
Here we have a U.S. national security official who is advising Ukraine while working inside the White House, apparently against the president's interest, and usually they spoke in English. Isn't that kind of an interesting angle on this story?
I find that astounding, and some people might call that espionage.
Congressman Sean Duffy also questioned Vidman's interest since he was born in the Ukraine. Ooh. Will this attempt to damage his credibility work?
Well, I mean, I'm reading about the guy. His grandmother and his father and he came to this country when he was 3 years old. His mother died. They were Jewish, so that means that they were escaping some oppression, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. And then he came here and he became a Harvard educated Ukraine expert. He's won the Purple Heart during the Iraq War. I mean, really? They don't question Trump's loyalty, who totally doesn't believe anything the CIA tells him or the FBI. But this guy has a Purple Heart is questioned over, President Bone Spurs. It's talking. They're talking in Ukraine. That's their original language. If you want to get things straight, I would think if you're having a conversation with someone, you would talk in the language that you're most familiar with.
Well, now I'm questioning my whole upbringing because my dad speaks fluent Mandarin. Mm-hmm. He might have been a spy my whole life, and I didn't. Had no clue.
It's possible.
Look, I think there's nothing more unpatriotic than accusing someone, an American citizen and a veteran, and someone that is currently serving our country and frankly being the adult in the room, and good for him on testifying today, accusing them of being a spy for this country. I mean, it's clear to me if that's the only defense they have, then they're in some serious trouble here. But look, I'm sort of over this because I have complained from the beginning that I see a problem with this call. I don't understand why there aren't more Republicans speaking out about this, frankly, but if they weren't alarmed after hearing the call and after Bill Taylor testified, who is also a veteran, and expressed concerns, I'm not sure hearing from him today, as serious as it is going to change the needle on this. Well, people like Mitch McConnell, I just don't know what it's going to take.
It does seem to me to be very un-American to question and attack someone because of their birthplace. I mean, this is supposed to be the country where you embrace people from other places, right? That's the very fabric of this country. And, if you're going to attack him, are you going to attack Kissinger, who was born in Germany? Or are you going to attack Congressman Meadows, who was born in France?
Barack Obama, born in Hawaii, which is part of the U.S.
My dad was born in Panama.
Yeah, but I think that the point when you have these national security professionals who can communicate with foreign officials in their native language is to have them communicate in their native language. Yeah. And so to attack him on that basis, again, is very un-American. But he's the first White House official who was actually on the call to testify. So I think it really dismantles this White House administration's hearsay argument, right? Because that's what we were hearing before. It's all hearsay. It's all hearsay.
Well,
it's not hearsay.
They'll find somewhere else
I
to go.
agree with everything you said, and I think that any veteran, especially somebody with a Purple Heart, deserves our respect. I think I made that very clear yesterday. But where everyone's losing me right now is there is this trend in American politics where we are criticizing veterans. We saw it with the Kazir family. We saw it with Tulsi Gabbard last week, with Hillary Clinton calling her into question for this exact same thing, saying she was a Russian asset. And all of this language is like McCarthyism. So if you have a problem with what Laura Ingraham did to excuse me, I'm not finished.
I know you're not, but I have to
Mr. Vindham today, but you should have a problem because you're questioning people's loyalty to America who have fought and served. And Tulsi Gabbard enlisted after 9/11 and served for 12 months. And by the way, is currently in the Army National Guard. And we're questioning, Hillary Clinton's coming in questioning her loyalty to the United States. And now we're questioning his loyalty to the United States.
She's not questioning her loyalty.
Yes, she is. She called her a Russian asset. And she said that she's not.
I have the quote right here.
And she's being groomed for a third party.
She said, I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye, the Russians, on somebody who is currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians.
If you are a patriot who who loves, and by the way, if Hillary Clinton believes that, you should be doing an investigation into this, because that is a very, very serious
Maybe
claim.
they are.
But if you are questioning Tulsi Gabbard and you are questioning Mr. Vindham right now, I don't understand where we come into place, where we can question people who have sacrificed and served in war right now in the American dialogue. I don't like it when Laura Ingraham did it last night. I don't like when Hillary Clinton does it to Tulsi Gabbard. I think it sets a very, very bizarre precedent.
It's also exactly what Russia wants and exactly what China.
Yeah.
All these places
but
love
see,
it when
you just
we do
brought
that.
up Russia, and that's part of what I think Hillary was talking about.
Questioning his loyalty to Ukraine.
Well, the reason he was being Ukrainian is because the Ukrainians came to the lieutenant colonel to talk about the craziness with Giuliani.
But they're questioning him because he was born there.
Yeah, they're questioning.
I understand, but part of the questioning is because he was speaking Ukrainian. Yeah. Well, yes, he was speaking Ukrainian to the Ukrainians because the Ukrainians came to him because he speaks Ukrainian.
But these are all soldiers.
Yes, that's the thing.
But they're all soldiers who have fought and sacrificed and served for this country. We should not be questioning their loyalty. People who put their life on the line for America and for freedom, their loyalty to America should not just be questioned. And I'm not going to sit here and do it.
Hold on a second. Just because somebody's sheriff does not ipso facto make them above reproach.
For me, and where I come from, it does.
Listen.
I'm sorry, serving in Iraq in a war zone as a medic, and what he did as well, by the way, and his brother, by the way, Alexander Vindham, also serves, and they have both of them have Purple Hearts, and I just don't understand. For me, yeah, you get a pass for a lot of reasons, because
automatically
you get, if you are putting your life on the line for freedom,
the benefit of the
definitely the soldiers in this country and veterans and people who have lived and fought for freedom get a pass from me.
What do you mean, Joy,
Thank
by
you.
saying ipso facto
I'm just saying.
a pass
I'm
for
just
everything?
saying.
Because we do have war criminals.
Okay, everybody, just take a breath,
Yeah.
because now it's
You know what?
becoming hard
I'm
to.
sorry, but people.
Hold on, let me just finish what I'm saying so that I can just say.
Okay.
Everybody has something to say at the table. We really do want to hear from everybody, but we're starting to do that thing.
Right.
And so
I don't know what that means. This thing.
It means you're talking over each other.
Well, it's the View.
It is The View. You know what? Let me tell you something about The View. This show has always had the ability to have different points of view, which we respect around the table. And when we talk to each other, we also exhibit respect. So when I'm saying to you, hold up, because we're not hearing each other, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm trying to get you heard.
I don't think you're trying to cut me off, but
but that's what I'm doing. Yeah, but that's what you're doing right now. We'll be back. We'll be back later. Welcome back. We were in the midst of having a conversation, which we will now continue.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave. I was talking about, I left the segment saying war criminals, and I don't want to leave the impression that I am anti-military, because I come from a military family as well. My grandfather was a merchant marine. My two cousins served in the Navy. My cousin that has been to the show many times is a wounded veteran who almost lost his life in the Army. But the point is that, I do give the benefit of the doubt to people who have served, but Chelsea Manning served as well. So there have been people that have served but there have been people who have served that, have not done.
Do you know who's
great
a good
things.
example of that?